Sister Olivia and I were both reborn, finding ourselves back on the day we went to St. Jude's home for children to adopt. In my past life, my sister adopted a boy and I adopted a girl. She wanted a stranglehold on the family fortune and sneered at me, "What's a pretty face going to do for the family business?" But later, the boy she adopted got into a fight at school that turned fatal, costing her every penny she had, while the girl I adopted was discovered by a director and became a child star, a veritable gold mine. My sister couldn't stomach it. She goaded her adopted son into murdering me. When I opened my eyes again, we were back at the orphanage. This time Olivia lunged for the girl. "Sweetheart, from now on I'm your mommy." I looked at the boy, his head bowed in silence, and smiled as I took his hand. My sister had lived 2 lives and still hadn't learned a simple truth: you reap what you sow. Just like last time, the director brought out Leo and Ayla. Leo was covered in scrapes, his face a stoic mask, but his eyes were wary and guarded. Ayla nervously twisted the hem of her dress, looking small and pitiful. Both were only 6 years old, yet they lacked the carefree innocence of other children their age. Before I could speak, Olivia snatched Ayla into a hug. "Sweetheart, from now on I'm your mommy." Ayla flinched, trying to pull away, but then, as if stunned, she nodded. Olivia smiled, satisfied, then shot a disgusted glance at Leo. The memory of the last life must have surfaced because she frowned. This one. So much anger in such a little kid. It's just his nature? If he's like this now, imagine what he'll be when he grows up. Leo felt the sting of her malice. He looked like he wanted to argue but couldn't, so he lowered his head and bit his lip. "He'll grow up to be decisive. A real force to be reckoned with," I said, cutting Olivia off as I gently took Leo's hand. The staff smiled kindly, though their looks toward Olivia were tinged with confusion. As we walked out of the office, I faintly heard them talking behind us. Didn't Olivia Sterling specifically ask for a smart, independent boy? Why'd she end up taking little Ayla? Who cares? The 2 biggest troublemakers are gone. Makes our lives easier. Speaking of which, her sister Daisy seemed so gentle that little Leo was going to give her a world of headaches. Watching Olivia coo over Ayla as she bundled her into the car, I couldn't help but let out a cold laugh. Did she really think Ayla became America's sweetheart in our past life by pure luck? My name is Daisy Sterling. Olivia is 2 years older than I am. Our parents had only the 2 of us, and both of us had been committed to career-focused, child-free lives. After failing to pressure us into marriage and to ensure the Sterling Empire wouldn't be left without an heir, our father ordered us each to adopt a child. His meaning was crystal clear: whichever child proved more capable would grant their mother more power and a larger share of the company's stock. Even clearer than our father's intentions was Olivia's ambition. She had specifically told the orphanage director she wanted a sharp, independent boy, the perfect raw material to mold into a future corporate shark. The director picked Leo because he was constantly getting into fights. Even the older kids knew not to mess with him. As for Ayla, she was the prettiest girl at St. Jude's but also the most timid. She was bullied relentlessly and, at such a young age, already showed signs of depression and withdrawal. Worried that the 2 would cause a major incident and tarnish the orphanage's reputation, the director pushed them on us. In our past life, Olivia had taken Leo without a second thought, mocking me, "What's a pretty face good for? She's nice to look at, but she can't even speak up for herself. What do you expect her to accomplish?" She thought she had victory in the bag. What she didn't expect was that under her permissive parenting Leo's aggression festered. Eventually he bullied a classmate with fatal consequences. At the time Leo was not yet 14 and escaped serious legal punishment, but Olivia nearly exhausted her savings on settlements and legal fees to keep him out of juvenile detention. Our father was beyond disappointed. He refused to help financially and revoked Olivia's inheritance rights on the spot. Meanwhile, under my guidance, Ayla blossomed into a confident, charming young girl. She was discovered by a director for a role in a hit series, which launched her into stardom as America's sweetheart. When our father prepared to hand the company over to me, a resentful Olivia incited Leo to kill me. "Leo's a minor," she'd said. "He won't do hard time. What's the difference between 1 life and 2? She leaned close as I bled out and whispered, "Oh, little sister, if you want to compete with me, you'll have to wait for the next life. And by the way, thanks for leaving me such a profitable little daughter." Stabbed repeatedly, I died right in front of her. Now reborn, Olivia wore the same smug look on her face. Well, little sister. Looks like there really is a next life. The tables have turned. This time it's my turn to sit back and enjoy the good life. You can have the little murderer. Now you get a taste of what I went through. He's a real handful, you know. She wasn't wrong. On his very first day of school, trouble found Leo. When I went to pick him up, I saw him pinning another boy to the ground and raining down punches. By the time a teacher pulled him off, the other child was a mess of bruises and tears. Leo had a few cuts on his hands and face. He stood stubbornly to the side, ignoring the scolding adults, saying nothing. An apology was out of the question. The other boy's parents arrived furious. If the police officer hadn't been there, the father looked ready to beat Leo himself. I quickly pulled Leo behind me, bowing and apologizing profusely. Sorry. Is that all? The father roared. How about I beat you up and then just say sorry? Like mother, like son. What kind of trash raises a little bastard who dares to touch my boy? Where's the principal? A student like this needs to be expelled now. His voice echoed across the schoolyard, drawing a crowd. Olivia was there to pick up Ayla, and seeing the scene, she looked as if she'd been waiting for this all day, a smirk playing on her lips. My. What a vicious little monster. Doesn't seem like a child at all, she stage whispered. And on the first day too. Well, you're in for a rough ride. With that, she turned away, pulling Ayla with her. Come on, sweetie. Mommy's taking you shopping for pretty dresses. Homework? What homework? You're going to be a star. Don't look back. Why are you staring at that little hooligan? I ignored Olivia and handed my business card to the angry father, promising to cover all medical expenses and offer financial compensation. The police officer, seeing my cooperative attitude, helped mediate. Perhaps the sterling name still carried some weight. After glancing at the card, the father's expression, while still hostile, softened slightly. He grudgingly accepted the wire transfer and stormed off, still muttering insults. I pretended not to hear and led Leo to the car, wanting to avoid more drama. He remained silent, head down. I didn't press him. It wasn't until he noticed we were driving in the direction of the orphanage that panic flickered across his face. He shot a furtive glance at me, his mouth opening and closing as if he wanted to speak but couldn't find the words. I pulled over at an urgent care clinic and had his cuts tended to. We're running late, I said. The housekeeper's dinner is probably cold by now. What do you feel like eating? My treat. I looked at the small bandage on his forehead and smiled. You earned yourself a battle wound today. We need to refuel. Leo stared at me. I caused so much trouble. Aren't you going to punish me? He paused, then glanced nervously toward the intersection. I thought you were taking me back. No one sends their son back to the orphanage. Don't be silly, I said gently. As for what happened today, I'm sure you had your reasons. You can tell me, or you can keep it to yourself. It's over and done with. He was bullying my deskmate, he mumbled. He told me to mind my own business. So I hit him. I know it was wrong. From now on, I'll try. I smiled and finished for him. From now on, you'll make sure to protect yourself first. My little hero. My brave boy. A real smile, bright and genuine, finally broke through his tough exterior. He touched the bandage on his head, embarrassed. I couldn't help but remember the last life. Olivia had simply thrown money at the other parents and praised Leo back home. That's my boy, making a name for yourself on the first day. That's the spirit. Anyone messes with you, you let your fists do the talking. The Sterlings will clean up any mess you make. You're the future heir to this family. That reward had taught Leo a terrible lesson, hit and you get what you want. Perhaps that was the moment the first seed of evil was planted in his heart. This life, I told myself, I would never let it bloom. Leo was indeed incredibly smart and a diligent student. Ayla had been the same way in our past life, but this time, under Olivia's care, Ayla barely had time for school. Olivia claimed studying was useless. Ayla is destined to be a star. Why waste time on books when she could be building her brand? So she enrolled Ayla in an endless series of piano, dance, vocal, and modeling classes. Olivia pulled her out of school early to shuttle her from one lesson to another. Her wardrobe became shockingly mature for an elementary schooler. Isla's teachers called for meetings several times, but Olivia arrogantly ignored them. I once witnessed a confrontation. My daughter is going to be in show business. Could you please stop wasting her time? Olivia said, her voice dripping with condescension. We're not doing homework and we don't care about test scores. Ms. Davison, have you said your piece? One of her piano lessons costs a few $100s. Are you going to reimburse me for the time you're wasting? Olivia was a brick wall. Isla's homeroom teacher eventually gave up. Freed from oversight, Olivia grew bolder, making Ayla skip school for modeling gigs and fashion shows while building up her social media following. Soon Ayla started booking commercials for children's clothing brands and began earning money. Olivia was ecstatic, but I was consumed with worry. This was the child I had poured my heart into for 8 years in a past life. Even if she wasn't my daughter this time, the affection remained. Ayla was so young, her worldview still fragile. There was no telling what kind of person she would become under Olivia's influence. One evening at a family dinner, Olivia couldn't stop bragging to our father about Isla's follower count and how much she earned per ad. I couldn't stand it any longer and tried to intervene gently. She's still so young. There's no rush to make money. It's more important to focus on her studies for now and then. Oh, listen to you, Olivia cut me off with a cold laugh. Sour grapes much? You're just jealous my daughter is so successful. Is it because your son is busy getting into fights every other day that you can't stand to see my daughter thriving? Instead of worrying about Ayla, you should keep a closer eye on your own son. Wouldn't want him to actually kill someone this time. Since adopting Ayla, Olivia had been so obsessed with creating a star that she paid no attention to Leo. She had no idea that the little troublemaker from our past life was transforming into a responsible, considerate, and honorable young man under my care. And Ayla, well, Ayla, you really should keep up with your studies, I told her, instinctively patting her shoulder as they were leaving. Leave me alone, Ayla snapped, violently shrugging off my hand and shoving me. Her face was set in a defiant pout I'd never seen before. Olivia emerged from the other room, saw the exchange, and shot me a triumphant, venomous look. Daisy, don't forget that little murderer is your son. Now stay away from Ayla. She doesn't want anything to do with you. I lowered my eyes and kept my face impassive. After Olivia and Ayla left, I went back to my room. Clutched in my palm was a small, folded piece of paper Ayla had pressed into it when she shoved me. Mom, don't worry. The 4 words, written in the delicate script she'd practiced for years, hit me like a lightning bolt. I stood frozen in place. I waited until the dinner plates were cleared and the soft glow of the table lamp flickered above us. Leo sat in his high chair, fingers curled around the edge of the tray, eyes still retreating into that guarded silence he always carried like armor. I, Daisy Sterling, felt the pulse of this new life racing through me, and I was determined not to repeat the mistakes of the past. You did good today, Leo, I said quietly, reaching across the table to tap his little knuckle. He looked up, startled, then hesitated, then smiled just a little. It was the first time I'd seen something other than stubborn defiance. I swallowed the lump in my throat. You earned that. And yes, you're my brave boy. Behind me, the fine china clinked as the housekeeper cleared away the last of the dinner dishes. I felt the hum of the Sterling legacy in the walls, the inherited weight I'd accepted, but this time I promised myself, I would write a different ending. The next morning, I walked Leo to the front gate of the school. His backpack was buckled, his hair trimmed short. He stayed quiet, but I noticed the way his eyes flickered at the gatepost, at the bright flags bearing the school emblem. He was ready, but the world wasn't. A boy like Leo would draw attention, one way or the other. At noon I got the call. A teacher reported Leo had sparked another argument. This time a classmate provoked him, and instead of escalating to violence, Leo stepped back. He said, "I'll tell the teacher," and left the playground. When the teacher praised his restraint, Leo nodded, voice low. I knew I'd get in trouble if I hit him. That moment cracked me open. The same child who had punched his first-day victim now made a conscious decision not to fight. That decision felt monumental. When I picked him up, I pointed to the small bruise under his sweatshirt sleeve. "I'm proud you didn't hit back." He slid his hand into mine. "Thanks," he whispered. For once I felt like I could choose. His shoulders relaxed in a way they never had. Meanwhile, Olivia was on a high with Ayla. The tabloids were about to publish a feature titled Sterling Prodigy Girl, From Orphanage to Red Carpet. Olivia glowed like a trophy owner, her lips painted too sharply, her laugh a little too loud. Ayla stood beside her in a gown that shimmered, hair coiffed. But late at night I heard the crumple of sobbing behind the closed door of Ayla's dressing room. When I knocked gently and asked if she was okay, she forced a smile and said, "Fine. I just wish I got to choose my life." I folded the laundry in my guest suite. I remembered the scrap of paper she'd given me after she shoved me away. "Mom, don't worry." I kept that folded in my pocket. That little message revealed so much. The child, 6 years old, had hope clinging to her, despite everything. It made me wonder, was Ayla's compliance really ambition, or a mask for something else entirely? The first major turn came at the annual Sterling Gala. I arrived with Leo on my arm. As I maneuvered through the crowds, I heard Olivia announce to the chandelier-lit room that Ayla would perform a piano solo. The guests applauded, cameras flashing. Ayla sat at the grand piano and played a piece with breathtaking skill. The audience rose in a standing ovation. Olivia swept forward, arms wide, beaming. Later, in the VIP lounge, I found Ayla alone, hugging her knees. "That was amazing, Ayla." I sat beside her. "Do you want to do this, or do you want something else?" She looked up, tears shining. "I don't know. I started wanting the pretty dresses and the lights because everyone told me that's what I was worth. But tonight I felt tired. I missed being just a kid." My heart welled. "You always can be just a kid. If you let me help you." She nodded once, eyes fierce. That night, I promised myself I would protect her, not from Olivia, necessarily, but from the loneliness behind the glitz. Second big turn, the board meeting. Father Sterling announced his retirement plan, laying out how the company would transition. Olivia, seated next to him, smiled like the conqueror she always believed she was. My palms sweated as I sat among the executives. Leo stood quietly in his role as the child heir figurehead, no trophies, no smirks, no guns for hire tactics. Just presence. Olivia made her pitch, take Ayla's face, global endorsements, real estate acquisitions, and the board quietly nodded. She turned toward me and said softly, "Enjoy the show, Daisy. Your little hero is still playing catch-up." I rose. My voice steady. "Thank you, Father, for this opportunity. But I'd like to present a different strategy." I laid out the numbers, Leo's leadership program, a charitable arm built around orphan education, investments in children's welfare, and brand alignment that tied our future to purpose. I ended, because a family legacy isn't just profits. It's the people our name lifts. And I believe in lifting them. The board murmured. Father looked at me, his expression unreadable. Olivia's smile flickered. Leo's hand found mine under the table. When the votes were cast, I had won a majority. Olivia's deal collapsed. Silence filled the room. Then she rose. "So be it," she said, voice cold but composed. "Enjoy your victory, little sister." I nodded. "I intend to." Third turn, the confrontation. Late one night I found Leo in the study, staring at a framed photo of his younger self, bloody knuckles, teenage war paint defiance. He was 18 now. "You don't have to carry that," I said, walking in, closing the door. He didn't reply. "What do you want to do with your life, Leo?" He closed his eyes. I thought I had to become the monster to survive. "But you," he looked at me. "You show me there's another way." His voice cracked. "I want to build something real. Not because I'm chosen, but because I choose it." My chest filled with warmth. "Then let's build it together." At the same moment, Ayla burst in. Her runway glamour silhouette looked ill at ease in the room. "I quit," she announced. "I don't want to be your star without a real self. I want a life I choose." Olivia's shadow had followed her into the room. She watched, furious. Olivia charged, "You're making a mistake. You'll regret this." Ayla stepped forward. "I'll take that risk." The room trembled. Leo moved to stand beside her, and I moved to stand behind him. For the first time the three of us, Child heir, rescued actress, guardian mother, stood united. Olivia sneered. Fine. Then don't expect the sterling name to protect you anymore. She turned and walked out. I closed the door and exhaled. My hand found Leo's. His found Isla's. The three of us smiled, fragile but real. Final twist: a week later, I discovered a hidden clause in Father's retirement documents. Olivia, despite losing the board vote, still controlled a silent share of the company conditional on Isla's personal brand hitting 200 million followers within 12 months. Without meeting the metric, the shares would revert to Daisy Sterling Enterprises. Olivia had believed her power safe. Ayla had been her weapon. But Ayla, child no more, had chosen her voice instead. The clause evaporated. I confronted Father. He admitted he'd placed the clause after the first life had ended, anticipating Olivia's ambition. I wanted to test you both, he said. And I got more than I bargained for. I nodded, knowing the rebirth had been real. My soul had carried the scars. Olivia found out and exploded. She attempted legal action, began leaking false statements about Ayla, tried turning Leo's past reputation against us. But we were ready. Leo revealed his history publicly and said, "Yes, I was a reckless boy. I own that. But Daisy gave me the chance to grow." Applause broke out. Ayla made her own statement, "I trusted myself the first time today." And hit a social media wave not because of a marketed brand but because of authenticity. The night Olivia's final suit was withdrawn, I stood on the terrace of the Sterling penthouse, the city lights and ocean below. Leo and Ayla emerged behind me. I placed a hand on Leo's shoulder, then turned to Ayla. "You both changed things." They nodded. Leo smiled softly, Ayla's eyes gleamed with freedom. And I felt it, the loop closed. The tables had turned. But more, a new table had been set, with different players, different rules. Yet I also felt a tremor in the wind, a reminder that power is never static. Somewhere out there, Olivia was regrouping. But for now, I whispered to the night, we won. And beyond that horizon, a future stretched.